Happening now, former President Trump speaks to the Fraternal Order of Police in North Carolina. Let's bring in the Assistant Whip for the House Republican Conference, New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Congresswoman, it's always a pleasure to see you and have you on the show. Here's what he just said. Quote, no one in the room. He's basically saying no one in the room. He asked for a show of hands. Are you for Kamala Harris? The cops basically saying no. He's also saying cops are in more danger, under a greater threat than ever before. Cities are under siege because of the brutal plague of crime. Are people getting the truth about crime in America?
Well, look, nobody who is in law enforcement or supports our law enforcement should vote for Kamala Harris, because she is somebody who has raised money to bail out dangerous criminals. She called ICE, that is tasked with deporting criminals from our country. She compared them to KKK. This is someone who has not been a friend of our law enforcement. President Trump, on the other hand, has been, and he is the one fighting to secure this nation, secure our border, make our city streets safe again. And if that's what people want, law and order and secure borders, there's only one choice in this race, and that is President Donald Trump.
So crime is so out of control in New York City. New York Governor Kathy Hochul just signed a new law mandating that large retailers like Walmart and Target install panic buttons in all their New York State locations. No state has done this in the nation. No one's doing this. Why do we need panic buttons when we already have 911? How are panic buttons going to stop crime?
Yeah, all Kathy Hochul needs to do is actually repeal the radical bail law that allowed for these criminals to be released over and over and over again on our streets. And what New York City should be doing is repealing its sanctuary policy that will allow the NYPD to once again cooperate with ICE to deport criminals. It's that simple. We are seeing this crime surge in New York City. Why? Because of the policies coming from the Democrats at the city, the state, and the federal level. It's as simple as that. And if people don't like it, they need to reject the Democrats on the ballot this November. So it's that clear.
So in New York City alone, I think there have been nearly 41,000 complaints about retail theft so far this year. That's like 112 complaints a day. Stores like Target have had to shut locations. Are you getting the data from politicians in places like New York City about the true level of crime in the city?
No, it's very difficult. But one other thing is Alvin Bragg, instead of looking to prosecute President Trump, should be more focused on putting these real dangerous criminals and repeat offenders behind bars. He actually ends up dismissing a large number of the cases. And just the other day, they said 75% of the arrests in Midtown Manhattan are arrests of migrants that are committing crimes. That just shows you how dangerous these unvetted individuals. Remember, the Biden-Harris administration told you they were vetted. They are not vetted. They are dangerous gang members. We've seen murders. We've seen stabbings, women being raped, a young girl, 13 years old, all by people who are in the country illegally. And I have had a hard time getting the stats from the city. As a matter of fact, I put in a Freedom of Information law request to get the data on the crimes that migrants are committing in our city, where the perps trace back to their addresses are back to the migrant shelters. They refuse to release this data.
Who?
They've been stonewalling me since last October, nearly a year.
Who?
And I still can't get this data.
Who's stonewalling you?
Well, it's the NYPD in the city of New York. It is under the direction of Mayor Adams. They've kicked the can down the road now 3 times. They're now telling me, after telling me I'd get the information in May and then August, now they're telling me I'll get the information in November. So either they're stonewalling, or there's so much crime being committed by migrants that they're having such a long time, they need such much time to tally it up. We know as of last February, there were 1,200 arrests of migrants. That number has to be probably 3,000 or 4,000, at least I would estimate by now. But they need to be transparent with the public. Yeah. They're forcing the taxpayers of the city to pay for these individuals to live in our city to wreak havoc. And instead of deporting them when they commit a crime, they release them and they commit these crimes over and over again. And they go to that luxury hotel room that's costing the taxpayers $350 a night.
Yeah. I mean, voters deserve so much more and so much better, Congresswoman. You know, that government crime data has also been criticized for being really problematic. So we really don't know the true level of crime in America. Congresswoman Malliotakis, a pleasure to have you on the show tonight. Thanks for joining us.